Well, the world is a cruel fucking place. This particular precinct of it, New York City, seems to get crueler and crueler every day, as well as less and less hospitable, at least to those who choose or are forced to scramble for sustenance at its so-called margins. Many of us quote-unquote poets have grown quite attached to this statuslessness. Many of us, in fact, came to Manhattan as deliberate pariahs. And far be it from me to underestimate the private miseries of any man or woman, rich or poor, homeless or more palatially appointed. And yet I think it's safe to say that most of us are far more insulated from the world's cruelty than we are likely to admit, given those long-suffering, poetic personas that creep into our work. It seems only logical that the closer one gets to it, the angrier one's letters from the edge of the precipice should become. Not so fast. With his cry of "Blue wins forever," Paco Brown lends a much-needed buoyancy to Rilke's somewhat sober pronouncement that poetry should, above all else, be an act of praise. There is no snarling or barking in this book. There is little anger, and certainly no whining, and believe me, there could be. Nor is there a trace of that down-low glamour content to fetishize social surfaces rather than to transcend them. On the contrary, these are poems of celebration, instinctively ecstatic, even when staring the awful truth in the face. This from the poem Polar. As the plunge continues to zero, and the light leaves early, the gray sky clears, fades away like a scar, and he sees in the black sky a single winter star. And just as the cold gray facts cannot content this poet's eye, neither can the formal lines on the page quite contain this poet's voice. His music is not one of formal rupture, nor does it ever plead tedious formal ignorance. When forms break down here, they do so naturally. They do not fracture so much as flow, or rather they overflow, so that in the end both form and content confront the reader with an irresistible emotional coherence, like weather. Paco does weather like no other poet I know. Schedule for rain, retain faith, make list, lose list, grow. And as for gallows humor, that not-so-secret weapon of all survivors, Paco has written what I consider to be one of the finest and funniest elegies on record. A Keatonian kernel of deadpan vaudeville, that's Buster Keaton, not John Keats. One deserving of chisel and stone, an elegy for Bill Rice. He was genius. To say less, perjury. Got a glowing review in the New York Times the day after brain surgery. This much-anticipated chapbook was conceived of years ago, though for a long, dark time it seemed as if such a plan could never be realized. Many of the poems it contains were thought to be lost entirely. Some of you might remember first hearing these pieces of Manhattan's open mic history on Monday nights at the Nightingale Lounge's Saturn series, nestled between the measured verse of Ray Pospisil and the toots and blasts of a still callow whippersnapper named Fucaloro. It is a testament to the ultimate triumph in its title, Blue Wins Forever, that this book came to fruition at all, given the numerous obstacles it had to surmount and absorb. But here it is. The gray sky clears, fades away like a scar, and he sees in the black sky a single winter star. Like my long friendship with its author, I trust it will prove as enduring as its own guiding starlight. So we started with black as the necessary preface. Now let's move swiftly on to blue and its ardent champion, Paco Brown.
Horses and honey, Wood and the ground are brown, and it's not just the flavor, but the color of gravy that drives you crazy. And if I can't tempt you with any of these, it's the primary hue of dried autumn leaves, browns all around. Brown abounds, but blue wins forever. Blue wins forever, it was decreed on high by the sky and by my mother's wide blue eyes, looking into and through me, so that I might try, that I might rise above her love and goodbyes and touch heaven. On a gray day, green wins. Most days, blue is the victor. Gray doesn't care who wins the battle in the sky for the painter's eye. Gray doesn't give a damn. Gray is that way, though soft as a lamb and is likely to stray. Gray so that you don't even care that it's hair anymore. Gray to let you know retirement from the fray. Thank you, Gray. I don't care about yesterday. Pink wins at the beginning and at the end, and this will be true as long as when is when. After the hot ascent at dawn in lightening sky, when pink severs the night that is gone, blue wins forever, until sunset when pink descends and wins again in fading light, surrendering to the black that night that outsider writer pens. Orange wins by night, orange wins alone, golden headlight, traffic cone, orange wins by night, orange wins alone. Rarest in reality, violet is the reward for the precious worship of the Lord. Violet wins again. Good for you, blood-stained blue. Blue wins forever. Vast is night, promising the new. All that is empty is filled with green, the go-light, the color of plenty. Blue wins again when green wins again, competing in the cliche of summer days, but in ways each can commend in the other. Blue and green meet as brothers. Happy and silly, loud and rude, yellow never wins. Winning, what's that, is yellow's attitude. White infuses the winter as snow relieves the sense of sight, when smiles and cheers and silence, alleviating some of the pressure on high-blown clouds and moonlight for winning white. Red, red, it goes to a man's head. Makes him think he's a bull instead. I'd start with pink, though, if you haven't had a drink, though, girls and guys. How could you think with all that scarlet in your eyes? Multiplicity and variation, the rainbow equation, where all colors mingle, none left to shine singly. They hold to one another, this one winning again, then that one winning again, ending in the void as friends. So there is no end, no end, no end. No end. That's the ending in the poetry. I'm a poet. Lucky me. And in September, in the city, there will be 2 skyscraping lights of blue for me and you, and all the memories of the dead, and all the days ahead. God bless America. Blue wins forever.